Ooh. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. समस्त जन कल्याणी निरतं करुणामयम् नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्. If I hold this glass of water in my hand like this for an hour or so, what will happen? The glass will start weighing heavy without even adding any more water, because my hand gets tired. The easiest way to make my hand free of it is to let go. Right? Therefore, here it is said, Vishaya asakti rupena mana bandhana karanam. So long as we hold on to objects of the world, that is called bondage. Bondage is none other than we holding on to things. Nothing holds on to us. When you say my car, is it car holding on to you or you are holding on to the car? When you hold on to the car, it's called ahankar. Huh? The car is not interested in you. None of the objects in the world are interested in you. We hold on to it. And then we blame the world. The world is a bondage. Who told you? World is not a bondage. It is Vishaya Asakti Rupena. In the verse number 8 we saw, Vishaya Asakti Rupena Manaha Bandhana Karakam. The same mind which is holding on to the object can make a small shift from object to God. Ishwararpita Rupena Tad Manaha Mukti Sadakam. See, that is the key to be free. One small shift of attention. You know, it is difficult for us to let go of so many things that we are being so attached to, and it is not possible for us to let go of everything. So you have to only do one thing. ये phone नहीं है, भगवान है. Don't start worshipping, huh? iPhone namaha, phone namaha. Not like that. So that means what? Sarvam Ishwaramaya. Sarvame, everything, if you start looking at the Lord, then there is no attachment, reverence, devotion, love. You start respecting the world instead of getting attached to the world. So, Ishvara Arpita Rupena. See, interesting thing is we cannot give anything to God because He already has it. Do we need to give anything to Him? I come to your home, from your garden, I take a flower and give it to you. I'm offering to you. But it's my garden. What are you giving to me? From my garden itself, you pick up a flower and give it to me. Similarly, what is not His? Krishna says, Matta parataram na anyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. My sarvamidam protam sutre maniganaiva. I am only spread all over everything. So what are you giving me? So you should give him that which you have and he doesn't have. And that is called ahankar. Ego and attachment is not what he has. Therefore, you give him what you have. Ishvara arpitam. What is to be arpan karna? What is that you have to offer to him? Your notion of this is me, this is mine. When that happens, then it becomes the mind, the very same mind which is cause of bondage, becomes a means to become free. Therefore, it says in 9, Tasmat sada hidhyatavyam sadakena prayatnatah mano me shiva sankalpam astu te kripaya prabho. Tasmat, therefore, sada, always, sadakena, by a person who's striving to become free, prayatnataha, with great effort, dhyatavyam. Bhagavan becomes a contemplative object or a focus of contemplation. And how do you do that? Me manaha, in my mind, Shiva Sankalpam astu. May my mind understand whatever happens according to the Sankalpa, wish of the Lord. Mano me Shiva Sankalpam astu. Thy will be done, not mine, not mine. So if you had your dinner, if you had already had, then after you put the food in your stomach or through the mouth you offer to the stomach, what do you do then? Thy will be done. Isn't that true? What can you do afterwards? Tell me. After eating the food, what can you do? You have to do anything. Is it not that after eating the food, you have no more concern about what happens to it because it goes on? After you get into the flight and sat in the seat where you have been allotted, don't you give up worrying about who's driving, who's flying the aircraft? Would you go and open the cockpit and see who is this? Would you check his flying license or something? Is it not at that point you have complete faith that the one who is in the cockpit, whom I do not know at all, Shiva Sankalpamastu, pilot Sankalpamastu. In everyday life also, without faith, you cannot move forward. You go to a restaurant, do you know who's cooking there? Or how it is being cooked? If you know, you will never go. That is why when people bring bhiksha, I do extra prayer. I always ask, when youngsters, teenagers are youth, and then they come as a family. So who all cooked? Serve me. Who all never cooked? Sit down. Don't even go anywhere near that. So I always ask the youngsters who come with the parents, did you cook? No, thanks. Sit down. So many things in this world, in our life, where we don't even know what is going on or who is doing it. We leave it. And we are not worried about it. Is it not that you are happy when you let it go? So too, this same attitude to be maintained in all things. I do my best. Shiva Sankalpamastu. Our problem is we just cannot do that. We keep worrying, keep worrying, keep worrying. One lady came and said, Swamiji, if I don't worry, who will worry? Okay, do that every day. What to do? That's your daily routine. So here, tasmat sadakena sadahi dhyatavyam prayatnatah. In everything that I do, manome Shiva Sankalpamastu. And even that I am able to let go, let the Lord take over from here, it is by your kripaya only. Te kripaya, Prabhu. Because I have not practiced this. I have not done this before. I do not know how it will work. But why not to try? And ask Bhagavan's grace for that. Tava kripaya, te kripaya, me maname Shiva Sankalpamastu. Only easiest way to become free, easiest way to become happy is let go. Let go does not mean don't do. Do your best. Whatever you need to do, you do it. Beyond that, don't sit and brood over that. Just like I give lecture, I never ask you how it was to you. Because if I ask you, I'll be miserable. 1 hour of 1.5 hour of lecture. And then actually today, what did I say? You said something. I think 2 jokes. Now, a 1.5 hour talk, you cannot give me a report for 5 minutes, how frustrated I would become. Isn't it? That's why sometimes when people cook also, Swamiji, how is it? Swamiji, how is it? Swamiji, how is it? Keep asking that question. Why are you asking so many times? Because I didn't taste it, Swamiji. Many times they don't put salt because our husband is a blood pressure patient. What am I got to do with that? And I tell them, don't give me assaulted food. What? Not salted means assaulted food. Sometimes they put extra salt also. That is called insulted food. Too much of salt. No, Swamiji, I didn't taste it. I said, become a shabari and give it to me. And don't make me suffer. So, don't worry. After having given to the Lord, don't keep asking Him, did you take care of it? Did you take care of it? Then Bhagavan said, then why did you just do it yourself? So this is next verse is about a beautiful verse from Kathopanishad. Buddhim tu saratim vidhi ya nayet rata jivanam karya karya vivekena manusyasya dine dine. In Kathopanishad, very beautiful simile was brought in by Yama to Nachiketa. Nachiketa asked this question, what is beyond death? And he was explaining about the nature of reality. And then he said, to understand what is beyond death, you must understand that you are deathless. Unless you recognize the deathless spirit and self now, you will always live in fear of death. Unless you recognize yourself as immortal, you will be always worried about your mortality. And it is a strange thing is, we always think everybody will die except me. Nobody would think that I will also go on all the days. Only Australians, the Australian way of saying, oh, you came here to die. Yeah, all of us came here to die only. But to die means today. All of us came here to die. Everybody is subject to death only. We always think that I will be there for a long time. So when explaining the deathlessness of the spirit, how do we come to remember that nature all the time? See, when you are listening to lecture or reading a book on spirituality or such subjects, actually your intellect is listening to it. Buddhi. Mind, on the other hand, which is a product of habits, as yesterday also we've seen, it's a product of the past, product of all impressions. And it always protests new knowledge because it doesn't want to change. Mind by nature is constantly attached to deha indriyas and objects. As Gurudev would put it, mind is one particular juxtaposition between the world and the spirit. Mind is that which is connected to the senses, objects, and the world. I mean, the world of objects, senses, and the body, and the prana, etc. On the other side, it has buddhi, intellect, which is informed, and the spirit, the self. So the mind is the one, that is why mind is causing the bondage or liberation. It is the decision to be done by the mind only. But unfortunately, the buddhi is the one which is listening to this lecture, and it is supposed to inform the mind to let go its attachment and come towards the spirit. That is the reason why in Kathopanishad it is said, in a chariot, the buddhi is the driver. Mind is the listener, owner. And the chariot is the body. As you find in Bhagavad Gita, Gita Upadesh is what? Who's the charioteer? Who's the driver? Krishna, the buddhi. Who's the listener? The emotionally disturbed Arjuna. And what is the chariot there? What is the chariot is nothing but the one which is being traveled by being the passenger who is Arjuna, and the vehicle that he is traveling is the chariot. Similar to that, our soul, which is presently nothing but the mind, which is, we can understand it as a soul only when it is enlightened correctly. Now it is caught up in the cage of the mind. And that mind has to listen. To whom? To the driver, to the Sarathi, and allow the Sarathi to hereafter take care of the journey. So, buddhim tu saratim vidhi. Buddhi is the Sarathi, meaning it is that one which has to lead our life, not the mind. Mind is only the traveler. Driver is buddhi. If the buddhi is not informed correctly, then what happens? Then the horses called the senses will go in all directions. Yanayet. That buddhi is that yanayet. What? The jivanam. Rata jivanam nayet. The life is being led by the driver called the buddhi. See, when you send your children to Bal Vihar or send them to understand the values, at that point when they were only 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 year old, they don't understand what they are learning. They only just take it because they don't see how it is helpful to them at that stage. But as they grow, continuously listening to various such positive inputs, which is called samskaras, later on, when they start living independently, taking decisions on their life, those inputs that they have received will start giving their results. If they do, you don't give at all, then what happens? Where do they come to know what is right and what is wrong? Because you're not going to be there all the time to tell them what is right and wrong. One place I went, I think here only, or Ottawa somewhere. And so as I entered the house, the parents of the house, they welcomed me and said to the small child, 4-year-old boy, touch Swamiji's feet. He took his foot and touched me. They were shocked. What's he doing? I said, don't blame him because you didn't show him what to do. If you ask a child, touch Swamiji's feet, what do you do? Huh? It's like a touching a ball or football in the ground or anything else. What you touch by the feet only. How does he know he has to bend down and touch the feet of the elders? If you have not shown him, then that is called samskara. You understand? Because they see, observe, understand, and repeat. Similarly, in the value education or anything that we give, we have to demonstrate how it is. We have to keep giving that input. Then, when they have to do it on their own, it comes to them. So, too, as we grow, unless we continuously listen to the correct values and input of correct knowledge, then only we know what? Karya, akarya, viveka. Buddhi is ready to give us the clarity between what to do and what not to do. Karya, akarya, vivekena. Buddhi is, by the nature of buddhi is differentiation or discrimination. It clearly knows what to do and what not to do, what to say, what not to say, how to do, how not to do. Karya akarya vivekena manushyasya dine dine, in everyday life. So instead of listening to mind, start listening to the buddhi. Intellect that is informed. See, that is the reason when children, when they nowadays they have so much of input coming from the websites and then children's school also, they are very clever in answering questions. But it is not coming out of experience. Right? You ask any question, they have answer. Straight away they give answer. Why? Because they have just been freshly been given as an input to them. And sometimes that's why Balwar parents also, teachers also very annoyed, That fellow reads from Chandamama and whatnot, and then even before the teacher opens the topic, he knows. And he'll start asking questions to him, to the teacher. Intelligent questions. One teacher was teaching about Krishna's birth, in Bhagavatam. So that Krishna's birth was being explained. So she said, today I am going to teach you about the birth of Krishna, how it happened. So one by got up. I think the Kamsa is a fool of the first order. Why? If he knows that the 8th child is going to be his killer, why did he put Vasudeva and Devaki in the same room? The teacher has nothing to say, dumbfounded. Intelligent question. What will you do? So, buddhi is that which definitely. So, when children listen, they don't think, they just repeat it. They are not talking out of wisdom. Wisdom is knowledge experienced. If that wisdom is not there, they just, bring out whatever they have listened, heard directly. But as we grow to become a grown-up adult means what? Where one has started to experiment the knowledge and made it as one's own experience. Therefore, there is no doubt at all. Asamshaya jnanam vijnanam. Where there is no doubt. Only an experience can give you doubtless knowledge. So buddhi should properly guide the mind, saying that which is karyam and which is not karyam. What is to be done, what not to be done. That was Bhagavan Krishna says in Gita, Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Akarya Vyavastito. Shastra Vidwanoktam Karma Kartum Iha Arhasi. Therefore, Arjuna, the Shastra is that which gives you the clarity about what to do and what not to do. Therefore, follow that in your life. So, now, when buddhi is, or the intellect starts to gain the new knowledge, what should be the source of knowledge? Anybody and everybody talking any subject is not going to be the right one. Now, let us take our own life, for example. Eyes are seeing, nose is smelling, ears are listening, etc. Right? When eyes are seeing something, nose has no role to play on that. Right? When I'm seeing a red color, it is not, nose has anything to say on that. Because he knows not. Anyway, that's a poor joke. So, when the eyes are looking at a color or a form, nose has no role to play. When nose is smelling the unnecessarily burning that agarbatti on my nose, no, it's switched off. It's coming so strongly on my nose. Eyes have no role to play. Or ears have no role to play. When ears are listening to music, eyes have no role to play. Now, their own specific field of activity. And when eyes are seeing a color, other organs have no role to play on this. So whatever the eyes are reporting, we take it for granted. Correct or not? This is called in Sanskrit as pramanam, the means of knowledge. For the sound, the ears are the means of knowledge, nothing else. For the smell, nose. For the sight and the form, eyes. For the touch, it is the skin. For the taste, it is the tongue. In the same way, what is the pramana or the means of knowledge to know what is the highest? So here it is said, Yad pramanam yat janiyat tat pramanatah swarupam nischidam tasya karma kuryan narastatah. Always go to the right source. Then only you have the right knowledge. If I have to learn about carpentry, I should not go to a person who is a singer or a musician. He has no idea about what that is. If I want to know carpentry, then I have to go to a carpenter. If I want to know how to build a house, I cannot go to a doctor. Yad vishaye pramanam yat. In which subject matter, whatever is the correct source of knowledge, janiyat, come to know, tat pramanatah, from that very source. So it is important to know, because in this subject matter, about the world, what it is, science is explaining to us. Right? No, the field of science is constantly engaged in understanding the world around us. Around us means whatever we can see. Not only this Earth, then the Mars and this Jupiter or the various stars and the galaxies, because they are done with this world, then they will go beyond this now. And now the Chandrayana goes there to find out what is in the South Pole, where there is water at all or not, where human beings can go and live. No, the exploration is the nature of science, constantly working on it. So the visible world is the subject matter of all the science. What about the world beyond this? Unknown. What is the pramana for that? Ajnatasya pramanam kim? Ajnatasya means what is unknown. What is the pramana, means of knowledge for that? What is the means to know what is not known? The only means to know the unknown is the statement of those people who have experienced the unknown. See, when a medical doctor, when he or she is getting trained, they open the body, anatomy class, and then show that, during that class, they are shown what is heart, where is the heart, where is the spleen, where is the liver, what is this, what is the kidney, and this and that. All that is shown to them, and how they work also. In a healthy body, how it happens, and unhealthy body, what happens, and what is the cause of what problem, and all that. So when you go to a doctor, and if you have a heart condition, you have to ask him only, because he knows by his own experiences and then what he has seen in his own during the training, how the heart functions and where the problems are, because he has seen it. He has not seen his own heart. You have not seen your heart also. He has not seen your heart. He has not seen his own heart, but he knows about the heart. Yes or no? Say yes. I better. Now, how does he know about the heart? He has not seen his own heart. He has not seen your heart. And nobody's heart he has seen. But he knows heart, how function, maybe a dead person's heart only, obviously, he can see. Or he might have done some surgeries where he has opened the body and he has seen how the heart is functioning. And then he knows, okay, this is how it is. And you open it. What will you do there? You cannot do anything there because you have no idea what it is. So the person who has experienced the unknown alone can speak about it. And that is the source of knowledge. In the same way, what is that self? What is that Paramatma? What is that Atman? Who knows? Atma Jnani eva. Only a man of knowledge, one has experienced the nature of the self, he is the Pramana. And those very jnanis, those men of such realization, direct knowledge have written down, this is how it is. That is called Upanishad. So Upanishads are nothing but a direct account of experience of the men of wisdom. It's not imagination. So Upanishad Pramanam, Vedanta Upanishad Pramanam. Vedanta kya hai? What is the ultimate knowledge? What is the pramana for Vedanta? Upanishad. Upanishad kya hai? Aptavagyani. The statements of people who have seen it, who have heard, who have experienced it. Therefore, to know yad vishaye pramanam, yad, whatever is the right source of knowledge, janiyat, come to know, tat pramanatah, from that source you come to know. Swarupam nischitam tasya, tasya swarupam nischitya. Knowing the reality, essence of that particular subject matter, karma kuryat, then do the action. Tatastatah, accordingly. As I said, if I want to learn about pottery, I need to go to a person who makes the pot and go and learn from him how to do it. Then exactly repeat what he is doing. In the beginning stages, you just imitate because you do not know on your own how to do it. So you just imitate as it was being done by the person. And slowly, slowly, you add your own method of doing it. Your children are the best example. One boy came home from school and he said to the mother, Mom, my stomach is hurting so badly. So mom said, did you eat the lunch that I packed to you? No, I didn't. That means your stomach is empty. You're hungry. Go and eat. Then your stomach ache will go away. So I said, okay. He just ate the food and then it was all right because he was hungry. He doesn't know how to say that. His stomach is hurting. Following Sunday, he went to Balvihar. And the teacher came, all of them assembled. The teacher came. Children, today, please be quiet. My head is hurting. The boy very clearly said, if your head is hurting, the cause of that is you did not put anything inside your head. See, that is called tat tat pramanata. He applies the knowledge straight there. They are very simple and straightforward. You cannot blame them. That's what they heard. Anyway, so when we do not know how a thing is to be done, and to learning processes to begin with, not only understanding how it is, but to start with, do exactly the same way that is being done. Then, as you do repeat that, you start recognizing how it can be done by on your own. That is why it is necessary during Balvihara to show how to do the japa, how to do the chanting, how to do the puja, how to show the arati, how to sing a bhajan. Why? Because you have to demonstrate. As I said, the child you told that touch the feet of the Swamiji, then he has no idea, just blind. He's not seen it. So you cannot blame. So in Upanishad, therefore, it is said in Kena Upanishad, the student is told by the teacher, I know that what this self is, that something which is beyond the senses, beyond the mind, beyond the buddhi. I don't know how to teach you. Therefore, I'm teaching the exact way my teacher taught me. Yat edadanu shishya. I do not know how to teach you. Yat vacha anabhyutadam mena vakapyute ityadi. न तत्र चक्षुर्गच्छति न वाक् गच्छति न मनः न विद्मः न विजानीमः यत एतदनुशिष्यात्. And therefore, I am going to teach you the way I was taught. Yo nastat vyacha chakshire. This is how our teacher has taught us. So, go to the right source of knowledge, first of all, learn it from that source, and do exactly the way it is done. Therefore, Swarupam Nischidam Tasya Karma Kurya Tatastataha. As it is demonstrated to you, and then as you do it, you will come to know how to do it efficiently by yourself. Many of the things that we do in our life are first to start with, we just repeat the way we observed it. Is it not? Whether you're in your cooking, obviously, how much salt to put, how much this to put, etc. How did you learn? Let who the person, your mother or somebody, and she just put like this. Now, mom, tell me how much it is. Just take a hand and put it there. And you also try everywhere it goes. Many people ask me this question, Swamiji, you cook? Yes. But the question, who will eat? I can cook. It will not be cooked anyway. Because I'm not observed to learn and understand that. So all of us who learn to know what we are doing or have learned from looking at it. Nowadays, no, you don't need a human person. YouTube, they show you how to do things. One lady was learning how to cook from the YouTube, and she put the vegetable in the bowl and everything on the stove, and then went on and waiting, cooking. Nothing happened. So husband came, newly married. Honey, what are you doing? I'm cooking. But nothing is happening there. Yes. So I'm just following what the YouTube said. Did you put on the stove or not? That they didn't say. The basic things of cooking, putting on the stove itself is not done. Then even that they will show. Take this and then switch on that and make sure it is on and then start. Hmm. Vyavahare chikitsadi shastrani vividani syuhu upayogam narastesham yata kuryat paristitihi. Vyavahare, in this world of transaction, chikitsadi, surgery, etc., medicine, the world of medicine, or applying medicine, prescribing medicine. uh, that's why I don't know whether it is in Canada it is true, but in US it is true that they say he's practicing medicine on us. He doesn't know what to do. He's practicing. Will it work or not? Let me try putting it on you. Or they practice law also on us. Everything is practiced on us. MD means what? What is MD? Tell me. MD means what? Master of? Huh? No, MD. Master of drugs. What else? Sanskrit Bhasha Subhasha is there, no? Vaidyaraja Namastubhyam Yamaraja Sahodaraha. Right? You know about that. Oh, the salutations to doctor, who is the brother of Lord of Death. Yamam haranti pranan tvam tu pranan dhananiche. The Lord of Death takes only the life, you take life and wealth. So, doctor is nowadays, it's only a medicine. Doctor of health. One small village, there were two doctors, both were brothers. And they went on to another village for a marriage in the family. When they came back next day, some people were carrying a body to the funeral place. So they looked at and asked what happened. So this person died today morning. So they both looked at each other. And when we are not here, who did this job? No, they practice all medicine on us to find out whether it's working or not. So, vyavahare chikitsadi, in the world where medicine, etc., shastrani vividani syuhu, there are many such kind of sciences are there. So many different departments of fields of knowledge, so many are there. And upayogam tesham naraha yata kuryat. Learning any science or medicine, etc., one has to follow to the T, then only get the result. If this medicine is for this purpose, it is only for that purpose. Don't try anything else, some part to do something else. In the same way, when a pramana, shastra pramana is there, a means of knowledge that is coming from the right source, one has to apply it Exactly. Very often, this is where we make a mistake. Shastra about rituals, about going to the heaven, etc. There are certain methodology of doing it. Don't ask the question why, because that is how it is. Without doing that, you will not go there. You will not get the result. So, if you want a particular result out of a ritual, please listen to the Shastri who says this is how it is to be done. He may not know why, but that is how it has been prescribed. Just like a doctor would say, this is you have to take one pill in the morning, two pills in the afternoon, three pills in the night, etc. Would you say that, oh, so two to 4 pills per day? Yes. 10 days I have to take? Yes. Why not I take all the 40 pills in one day? You take, you won't come back. It's a prescribed way of doing, right? And the pharmacist who's there, who's giving you the medicine, does not know the method. He knows that doctor has prescribed. I am just giving you what is prescribed to you. And the doctor also, he knows because he has read it correctly in his what you call document or whatever he's been taught that this is how this medicine works. The pharmaceutical company has prescribed this much is the dosage. This is how it is to be done. So everything is prescribed in such a way, then only it will work. So too, when it comes to rituals about going to heaven or gaining certain things which are beyond the human capabilities, there is a prescription. And that is when we say, oh, I will not do it. What will happen? And you will not get the result. That's all it is. When it comes to science, we believe. When it comes to Shastra, we don't. How many of you know that the earth is a globe? Tell me. Earth is round or flat? Tell me. What do you think? What do you think? Nobody is saying anything. Is it flat? Round? Globe? How do you know? How do you know? Tell me. Huh? Who did? You did? Then experts. They have documented. So you believed that experts or not? That is called Shastra. You have not seen or gone outside this earth to see whether it's round or flat. Why do you believe that? So when it comes to science, we believe. When it comes to Shastra, we don't. The same scientific method of thinking and arriving at a conclusion was done by the rishis. Without any doubt. Therefore, that is why I said, Upayogam tesham kuryat. If you need the result, not that everybody has to follow that. If you want the result, follow that. That is what is called pramana. The pramana is where you'll have to have no doubt about the source. Then only it is a pramana. Just like as I gave the example, when the eyes are reporting that the flower is white, I don't need anybody's confirmation. Then if somebody says blue, then I have to, what? Then I will ask majority of people what it is. So when I have the faith in the means of knowledge, then only there is practice of it. In the same way, one who wants to know the highest self must follow the source of knowledge, learn from that, and do exactly how it is said. Then only you will get the result. So, for the knowing of that self, there is pramana. Shruti smritischa dharmadau Vedanto Brahma Darshane Pramanam Vidyate Sakshat Kimanyena Prayojanam Shrudihi, Smritihi, Dharma. So, Shrutihi, that is what is heard by the rishis and meditated upon and have concluded as this is the how the truth is. Smriti, the same great souls, having experimented it, they brought about the methodology of understanding, like Bhagavad Gita, etc. They are called Smriti. Upanishads are known as Shruti, Vedas are known as Shruti, whereas the people who have practiced later on and gave more instructions on this, they gave explanations according to the times in which they were living. That is Smriti, Smaranat Smritihi. Dharma though, they are the means to know what is Dharma. And Vedanta Brahma Darshane, and Vedanta Upanishads for vision of Brahman. Now, nobody in this world can say, I'm absent. Anybody is absent here? Please, those who are absent, please raise your hand. Yes, nobody can experience I'm absent. Correct or not? You may be absent, somebody may be absent, or you may be absent-minded. But nobody can say I'm absent. So this I am, which is a subject matter of the Upanishad, there is no need for any pramana. There is no need for anybody to tell you that you are. Pramana nahi chahiye usko. But what it is, I don't know. To know I am, to say I am, there is no need for anything else. Teacher need not have to tell me, Guru need not have to tell me that I am. But what is that which I refer as I am? This is what I want to know. Now let me take an example, give an example to you. A small child, maybe an year old, and it comes to at home, it moves around, and it sees the orange, right? It sees the orange fruit there. It knows that there is something, but it does not know what it is. So what is that which the child, which is a few months old, when it is crawling towards the orange, would like to do? You think it'll take it in his hand, and the only ways it knows to find out anything is put it in the mouth. Whether it's orange or even anything else, a towel will be there. I mean, don't eat the towel. Because at this, in the stomach of the mother, all that it has been very actively doing is eating. Nothing, no other sensory development has taken place. Everything is known only through the tongue. So everything it will put in the mouth. Now, the child looks at the orange but does not know what it is. Then slowly you say, that is orange. That fellow looks at it. Repeat. Orange. And in its own way, okay, good. Then you would show that. It looks similar. So the child doesn't know. Apple. Now the mind starts. This is orange. That is apple. Right? So the starting, what is knowledge? Differentiating. Differentiating between orange and apple starts taking place, even though when the child looks at orange, but it does not know orange unless you tell it. It does not know apple unless you spell it out and it hears it, apple. Then you go to the bedroom and that fellow looks at it. So it looks at the fan. Fan. So the fellow reports fan. The mother is so happy. The fellow learned three things now. Orange, apple, and fan. So anybody comes home, they are caught. And my child started talking. See, she shows that orange. What is it? Orange. See? What is that? Apple. So And they take picture of that also. The child is walking about. Now the child is taken to somebody else's house, and she is still excited to teach, tell, show, to demonstrate what the child has understood. But she made a mistake. What is the mistake? The child is sitting in that main living room, and there is a fan up there on the ceiling. So the mother forgot. So the child is asked, "What? Where is the fan? What does he do?" Because the fan, according to the child's mind, is something standing on the floor. Where is the fan? Where is the fan? The mother is so angry about it now. Because the fellow, you don't know. Because even though it looks at that, but he cannot recognize that as a fan. That's all. Now, why I'm giving this example is, even though we are constantly, from the time we are born, become aware until now, until we die, physically not there, we are aware of I am. There's no doubt about this. Nobody says I'm not. But what that is, just like the mother has to teach what that is, Shastra has to teach us what it is. Not that it is not there. The features or the nature and the characteristics of the self is not something alien to you, but you don't know. It is not something produced by the Shastra. Yad asti sada. That is always there, but I don't know. If it is an external object, somebody has to teach me the characteristic and the nature of that. But this is there all the time in me. And until you come to Vedanta, you would not know what that is. The Guru and Shastra, therefore, reintroducing you to you. The problem here is, when I don't know something, I misinterpret as something else. So nobody says, "Who are you?" You cannot. Nobody says, "I don't know." Huh? Who are you? I don't know. Then you are a very innocent mumukshu. But what do we say? I am so and so. I am son of or daughter of so and so. I'm engineer, doctor, liar, whatever you say. So that is your identity about yourself. But that is not you. This is what the teacher says. That is not you. That is what you think you are. With respect to your body, you are a son or daughter of somebody. With respect to your mind, you are qualified as whatever the professional knowledge you have got. According to your birth, whichever nationality you are. According to the skin color, you are whichever race you are. But that's not you. Who are you? So reintroducing me to myself. That is Vedanta. Vedanta Atmadarshane Brahmadarshane. So just like Shruti, Smriti are meant for Dharma, Vedanta Upanishad is for Atmadarshane, Brahmadarshane, Pramanam Vidyate. Sakshat, clearly, straightforward. Kim anyena prayojanam. What other pramana you need? Anyena kim prayojanam. See, all our knowledge, as I started to say now, about orange or apple or a fan, Shabda Jnanam. Is it not? You heard it. How do you know it's orange? You heard it. You heard your mother saying. That's why it's called mother tongue. Your mother had drilled into your head. A for apple, B for boy, C for cat, and D for dog, all that. So you have heard it, and then that hearing translate into knowledge. Shravanat Jnanam. Therefore, Shravanam is the most important part. So, I, the Atman, is known to me, meaning I have no doubt about it all the time. But what that I am, is possible only when you hear it correctly from the right source. On your own, if you imagine, you do the wrong thing. So I have a misunderstanding about myself until I go to the right source of knowledge and where the teacher gives me the correct knowledge derived out of the Upanishads. So Vedanta eva Brahma darshane pramanam kim anyena prayojanam. What other external thing that is needed to know this? Just like uh, to see anything, I need only the eyes and the light. What I need if I want to see anything, my eyes should be open and the sunlight should be there. That is all I need to see this. Now the sunlight is not there, artificial light is there. If that object is there, light is not there, eyes are open, I can't see. The eyes are not there, light is there, object is there, I cannot see. Is it not? So there is externally one is necessary, internally one is necessary. What is internally necessary? Eyes. Externally, light. With those two only I can understand what that is. In the same way, externally you need the guru, internally you need a tuned mind. Without that, Atma Jnana will not take place. That's why Gurudev used to say, listen, not hear. Hearing is happening in the ears. Listening happens in the mind. Are you hearing or listening? Yes? Do you hear me? Or then you are out. Are you listening me? Listening to me, then you are here. If you are not listening, then you're not understanding. Your mind should be there to listen, not just the ears. So just like the eyes are necessary to see an object, not only that it needs to be lit by an external light, so too, my mind should be there to know the self along with the light of knowledge coming from the teacher or the scriptures. Then only the clarity comes. Otherwise, I know who I am, but not the correct way. The guru corrects it. No, this is not the right thing. So, when I misunderstand or misinterpret myself and I take that to be true, that is called ahankar. Ahankarasya vigneya tadatmena hi jayate. Oh, no, we missed one verse in between. 14, no, correct. No. Dehadibhirgunai sakam yo vibhati tata tatha. The misunderstanding about myself is called ahankar. It's our identity, mistaken identity. As I said, nobody says, I don't know. Do you know yourself? Yes. What? Whatever you are identified with at any given point of time. Interesting thing is, in there, in Panchadashi, Vidyaranya Maharaj, he writes beautifully about it. Even you meet somebody, what do you first thing you ask? A person whom you know. What do you ask? You ask, how are you, right? You don't say, who are you? Do you ask? That'd be an insult, right? Your own friend comes in front of you. What do you ask? How are you? Meaning what? In what condition you are. Is it not true? Our Gurudev used to say, when you, even to a stranger, what do you say? Have a nice time. Because you don't know that person, but you say, have a nice time. Once he was leaving from a hotel, After staying for a week or so, then when he was leaving, the receptionist there signing him off. Have a nice time. He turned around. How? She never expected that question from him. Sir, what are you asking? You said have a nice time. I am asking how. So we just make a statement which we don't really mean it. So when you meet a person whom you know, what do you ask that question? How are you? So that question, but the answer to that question, how are you, is the present state of your being. If somebody has lost somebody recently, and if you ask that question to him or her, what is the person would say? Ah, Swamiji, don't ask me. So at that present moment, that person has identified with that loss. You ask a young man who just graduated from the university, then, how are you? Swamiji, I just completed, graduated. Now, at that particular moment, what he or she has identified with that, that is the state of the mind. So, what is ahankar? Ahankar is not one thing. It is wherever it is identified with that moment. Ahankarasa vijnaya. Understand ahankar as tadatmena hi jayate. What it is identified at that point. Uh, Many of the Balvihar parents here, they're so interested to send their children to Balvihar and try to learn the Hindu culture. Definitely, they would not do it there in India. Because they take it from, oh, we are in India, we know it. They know zero. And what Ramayana they know? Ramana Sagar Ramayana. Not the original one. Whatever is presented in the TV, that's all they know. So when they come here, they suddenly become, I'm an Indian Hindu and I learned something. And I never learned, but at least my children should learn. So your identity of you as a particular belonging to a particular religion or something become more you conscious because that identity is strong at this point. When you are back in Bharat, you will not know that. Because you are everybody is the same. When you are isolated, suddenly you become aware of this. Hmm. You are going to a place where you don't know anybody, maybe a party or some marriage party or something. You are invited by your friend and she is busy with something. Now you are all by yourself. Everybody looks strange to you. Nobody you know. And suddenly you find one friend whom you met, one person whom you met maybe 10 years back. You will be gravitated towards that. Hey, remember we met? Because you want to now identify with somebody. Is it not? So what is ahankar? Constantly engaging in identifying with one thing or the other for its survival. Ahankarasya vijneyah tadatmena hi jayate. That ego is that which does not have a particular place to operate from. It operates from whatever it is presently identified with. If I ask you, are you a husband or a man? What is your answer? When my wife is around, I'm husband. Otherwise, I'm a man. No, I'm just giving an example. No, you can be otherwise also. I'm a wife and I'm with my husband. Otherwise, I'm a woman only. So, see, it depends upon where I am, right? Very often, when you go without your husband, without your spouse, they ask only about that. Where is he? But I am here. No, no. See, here you are more wanted to be as a wife than as an individual. And when you go to school, you are a mother. More than anything else, you are a mother, right? You cannot say, I'm husband, wife, or so and so. Who cares? But whose mother, who's your children? That is the identity there. And when you go to the airport, they will ask you about who's your husband and wife and which is the profession. Your identity, which nationality you belong to. Huh? That's identity is changed. So ego is that which is constantly connected to what you are identified with. At the present moment, when you are listening and hearing this, you are not identified with your body. But if you are getting hungry, you will. Until hunger is over, you are identified strongly with the body because it is constantly showing, I'm hungry, eat something, eat something, eat something. Once you finish eating, that identity is over. Now what? Sleep, sleep, sleep. So, ahankarasya vigneyaha tadatmena hi jayate dehadibihi gunaihi, by the qualities of the body, etc. Sakam yo vibhadi tata tata. As and when, as it is identified with that, whichever it is, it accordingly behaves. And their properties are appropriate, appearing as and when, as and that. As it is. If it is identified with the body, deha hankar. If it is identified with the mind, mana hankar. Buddhi buddhi, buddhi hankar. Why I'm saying this is, therefore, your true identity is not known. Either you are with the deha body, or with the senses, or with the mind, or with the intellect. Again, come back to body, again with the mind, again. So, where this is constantly, it is moving about only with that. In the process, I never ask the question, without the body, mind, etc., who am I? I never ask that question to myself. If I'm not the body, mind, and senses, etc., do I have an identity? Do I exist? Then, if I exist, who am I then? And this question is not asked until one comes closer to death. Swamiji, if my body is gone, will I be reborn? Will I get a human form? Can I wish for another human form? Mm. So the answer to that is, what you are strongly identified, you will become that. If you are constantly thinking about crocodile, next birth will be a crocodile. Whatever your mind is too strongly identified with, that will become the source of your next birth. So if I am not the physical body, if I'm not the mind, if I'm not the senses and the buddhi, because that is constantly changing, then who am I if it is so? That question is not asked. Why? Because nobody asked that question to you. Has anybody told you that you are not the body? You are not mind. You are not the sense. Until you come to Vedanta, that question is never raised, right? Nobody asked you that in the university or school, in the teachers or anybody else at your home, or nobody, your friends are not asking you, are you the body? Yeah, of course, what are you asking? Only a spiritual guru asks that question to you and gives answer to you also. So, dehadibihi gunaihi sakam yo vipadi tata tata. The example that I can give you is, if a vessel is put on a stove, and in the stove you put some water, and in the water you put some vegetables. I'm not a cook, but that much I know at least. Now, the heat of the fire transferred to this vessel, and the heat from the vessel transferred to the water, and the heat of the water transferred to the vegetables makes it cook. That much I know. Correct. If I ask you what is making the vegetable cook, what is your answer? Simple answer. Fire. Fire. right? Is the fire cooking the vegetables or the vessel? When intelligently you say fire plus vessel. Is the fire cooking the vessel or the water? Which one? Huh? Fire and the water. But do the vessel is necessary or not? Okay, why not you put the water directly onto the fire? No, you can't do that. So there is an intermediary necessary because you cannot put the water directly into the fire. So fire plus vessel plus water. So then fire plus vessel plus water and then the vegetable. Mm. So in the same way, Atman, the consciousness, not directly coming to be experienced by us as the body. So the body is in connection with prana, prana with the mind, mind with the intellect, intellect with consciousness. So consciousness is penetrating through all these things. Therefore, me, the body, is seen as I. This I in the body is nothing but consciousness pervading through all this and coming to be known. So therefore, it is a remote identity of mine is the body. Think of body without the mind. You have no awareness of the body. Sleep. Some of you are there. Now, body, when it is not in touch with the mind, is a dead bones and flesh only there. When the mind is gone at the time of death, what is the body? Body is not gone. There, matter going to back to the earth. So body is alive because there is an intermediary. So the prana makes the physical body breathe and survive. Prana is possible because there is mind. Mind is possible, there is buddhi. Buddhi is there because there is touch of consciousness. Therefore, very clearly, Bhagavan Krishna clearly clarifies that in Gita, Indriyani paranyahu indriyebhya param manaha manasastu parabuddhihi yo buddhe paratastu saha. Than the body or the senses, prana. Prana, mind. Mind greater than mind, buddhi. Greater than the buddhi is consciousness. So consciousness pervading through intellect as chidabhasa reflection, that makes the mind able to think. The thinking mind is able to maintain the prana, and prana is maintaining the body. That's what you are. So who are you? At the present moment, when you say I am the body, you are remotely referring to consciousness. Just like the cooking the vegetables are cooked by the fire, but not directly, indirectly. Because there is water there is a vessel there, and there's a stove there. In that stove, there is fire. Understand? So ahankara is, if it is identified only with the body, it is only remotely identifying with the consciousness. Even though when I say I'm able to say in the body, it is because there is consciousness. Dehadibihi, by body, etc., gunaihi sakam, according to their qualities, yo vibhadi, one which manifests tata tata, as is. So ahankara is that identifying with whatever in whichever condition one is, and mostly with the body, not knowing the body is possible only because of the touch of consciousness, which is behind and beyond. Not physically, huh? In this example of what I gave, it looks like it is somewhere hidden somewhere. But in the case of consciousness, it is not hidden. It is very much present, but we don't pay attention to it. Therefore, only with the touch of consciousness, there is buddhi, the intellect, with the intellect directing the mind, And the mind, prana, and prana is making sure the body is surviving. Interesting thing is, even when you don't pay attention, the work is going on. Like in sleep, you are breathing. Who is doing it? Because consciousness is present and the mind is also present in a rudimentary form. It makes sure that you are still breathing. You don't do consciously, right? Ahankarastu dvividaha bandharupascha muktidaha पूज्य भावश्चात्मनीह कर्ता भोक्ता सबंधकः. This ahankara, the identity of the individual, is of two kinds. Ahankarastu dvividaha bandharupascha muktidaha. Ahankara is of two types, that which binds you, that which will release you. Mukti dadadi, muktim dadadi, mukti daha. Bandhaka or bandharupaha means that which binds you. What is that which will bind you? It says here that pujyamanas, pujya bhavascha atmani iha. Pujya bhava. What is in the form of a overestimation of one's own self and the the notion of karta bhokta. I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. This will bind you. And knowing that you are not the karta and bhokta will release you. Where your ego depends on that will be whether you are bound or released. Why this topic is important is a Mahatma, a man of knowledge, also has ahankara, but it is false. It is called Bhadita Ahankar. Bhadita means falsified ego. What is falsified ego? We will elaborate it tomorrow. Falsified ego is that where others may see him as having it, but not really has it. This is called false ego. Just like an actor who is acting on a stage as a beggar, for the audience is a beggar, for himself is an actor. Correct or not? He doesn't consider himself as a beggar when he puts a role as a beggar. I now become a beggar? No, I am acting as a beggar. For the audience, he's a beggar. Because he behaves like a beggar, he has the dress of a beggar, he suffers the experience like a beggar. And as much closely or as much naturally he makes that beggar role, and the audience also will get moved by that experience. But as far as he is concerned, he is not become the beggar. He knows constantly, I'm acting as a beggar. Is it not? So in the same way, a man of realization, a man who has got enlightened to the higher nature, even as he operates in this world, as far as the world is concerned, he is an individual like anybody else. As Gurudev would say, he does not develop a set of new horns on his head. I am realized. Don't you know that? See that. It's growing there. There is nothing externally changes in him. Everybody will look at him as any other ordinary person. But as far as he is concerned, he's not the way you think he is. That's why Bhagavan Krishna beautifully puts in Gita, Yanisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati sanyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sanisha pashyato munehe. What he sees as day, you see as dark. What you see as day, he sees it as a dark. What is night for you? It is day for him. What is day for him? It is night for you. Meaning, what he sees, you don't see. What you see, he decided not to see. So for others, he has ego. As far as he is concerned, there's nothing. That is called falsified ego. It's like a person mistaking it's a thing to be a snake. He sees the snake only. He cannot see the rope because he has no idea that it is rope. For the person who has understood it as a rope, he will not see the snake. Though you claim there is a snake, he will say, where? If you are seeing, then it must be true only to you. So for him, it's a falsified snake. Similarly, ahankara is two types. One, that which binds, that other one, which is freeing oneself. The freed ego appears to be ego for others, but not for him. We'll see that more in the next session. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kasyid Dukkhabhat Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.